Hello, we ghosties. I'm Chance Lee.
And I'm Amanda McAvoy.
And this is That's So Gothic, a movie podcast about girls, guys, and haunted houses. Today, we are bringing you a special mini episode in celebration of the 10th anniversary of my all-time favorite movie. So grab your dark tannin oil and bask in the neon glow of Spring Breakers. Spring break!
Spring break
Spring
forever!
break!
Good morning, sunshine.
Wakey, wake.
Shine, little bitch.
I need your money.
Where's the money?
Money.
For what?
You know what? All I know is I'm not gonna sit here another day.
Spring break. How are we gonna get enough money
I don't
in
know.
time? We're the only ones still here. Spring break. Tired of seeing the same thing. Spring break. It's our chance to see something different. Spring break. Just get that cash. Pretend like it's a video game. We can do this. Spring break.
Twisting fingers in the club, I'm a yawn. I got them yawn, gotta hide your body part. My pants sagging low like a
We're in a magic place, y'all. You can change who you are, y'all. Bikinis and big booties, y'all. That's what life is about.
Who are you?
My name's Alien.
Why are you here?
I saw y'all in there. They like nice people. Come on, y'all. Why acting suspicious? I knew y'all was special from the moment I saw you. It's written on your faces.
Because I just have a really, really bad feeling about this.
Let's cause some trouble now.
Break, bitches!
I got my dark tannin oil. Lay out by the pool. This is the American dream, y'all. Spring break.
Y'all wanna die tonight?
Spring break.
Get down!
You're scared, aren't you?
Spring break forever.
Spring break forever, bitches.
My loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe.
Released in 2013, Spring Breakers was written and directed by Harmony Korine. It stars James Franco, Selena Gomez, Vanessa Hudgens, Ashley Benson, and Korine's wife, Rachel Korine. This is the story of four girls and a rapping drug dealer who want spring break to last forever. So this film made almost $32 million against a $5 million budget.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of the very first films distributed by A24, which has since become like its own culture in Hollywood. And we're recording this like a week after the Oscars. And so it just raked in a pile of them for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yep.
So Richard Roeper, who succeeded Siskel with Siskel and Ebert, wrote on Roger Ebert's website and gave this movie 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Wow.
And he said that this movie is a candy-colored fever dream and the most unforgettable movie of the year so far. Yeah. He also called this that movie where those former Disney stars spend every waking moment on the verge of bursting out of their bikinis. And he said that Spring Breakers challenges us to think about the hedonistic hell of the annual ritual of spring break as it segues from party film to insane crime story. It's self-indulgent, it's funny, it's dark, and it's provocative.
Ooh.
So this has a 67% critical tomato and a rotten 38% audience tomato.
Yeah, people hate this movie.
People hate this movie. I haven't done a lot of searching to see if there's a lot of retrospectives about Spring Breakers on its 10th anniversary, but my Google has not fed them to me, even though at this point in my life, Google knows I love Spring Breakers. So if there's a retrospective about it, Google would have put that at the top of my feed.
Front and center. The algorithm would have worked.
It should know by now. I've seen this movie like 15 times. I watch this movie every single year when I am on spring break from teaching college. My students look at me like I have 3 heads. I say, next week is spring break, AKA my annual rewatch for spring breakers, spring break. And they all just blankly look at me. I don't even know if they know what this movie is, even though it's 10 years old. But if I think about it, my college students were like 8, when this movie came out. So
I was going to say, I feel like this movie is not at the forefront of people's minds anymore.
No. Which is a shame. It's a shame. So this movie, it's written and directed by Harmony Korine. Are you very familiar with his work?
No, I was reading up a little bit after I watched this. And I have not seen anything else that he has done. So no, I am not very familiar.
Yeah, he busted onto the scene as the writer of Kids, which I've never actually seen, with Chloe Sevigny and Rosario Dawson. But I have seen this movie of his called Gummo. And Gummo is absolutely fascinating. And it's mostly comprised of non-actors. And it's so episodic. It's about this like rural southern town that's been decimated by a tornado, and everybody is just poor and living their lives. And there's no plot. It just kind of meanders from scene to scene. And all the characters are, as I said, played by just non-actors, just randos that he found. And it feels so real. It almost feels like a documentary. Like it's really startling and it's really hard to watch. And it has one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in a movie, which is there's this kid who is in the dirtiest bathtub you've ever seen. Just imagine you've lived in a house for, 20 years, and the bathtub has never been cleaned. And you get this bathtub and he's in it. He's in the bath water. He has a little tray and he's eating his dinner, which is spaghetti and marinara sauce, while he's in the bathtub. And someone comes to the door of the house and sells the mom like a chocolate bar, like a charity chocolate bar. And so the mom comes and goes, I got you dessert. And she gives him the chocolate bar while he's in the bathtub. And he starts eating the chocolate bar, and a chunk of the chocolate bar falls into the bath water.
Oh no.
And he just reaches down and picks it up and puts it right in his mouth. And it's so just visceral, this scene. Because it's not gory, it's not horror, but it's like, it's so real. Like you can, even though you have not been in a bathtub this filthy, you can imagine what it's like. But what I love about Harmony Korine is that he does not judge his subjects. No. And that's very important for this movie, I think. This movie does not judge the people that are in it. So we have James Franco as Alien. He says it almost like Aileen.
Aileen, I actually thought he was saying 2 names. Like I thought it was Alien. Like I thought it was like Alien. I thought that's what they were getting at. He
has such a weird accent in this movie. And he has, but once you learn that's his name, then you see he has little green alien heads on things. And he thinks his bed is a spaceship. It's
he's always saying,
spaceship.
I'm going to take you to outer space. I'm going to teleport you to another planet.
To another planet. This is the U.S.S. Enterprise in this bit.
This is my fucking dream, y'all. All this shit. Look at my shit. I got shorts, every fucking color. I got designer t-shirts. I got gold bullets. Motherfucking vampires.
So he's like a cute little nerd too, like at his core.
Which he's also a white boy with cornrows and I guess technically they're grills, but they are like metallic.
Yes, he has these platinum teeth and pretty heavily co-opted this black culture. And to the point where by the time we get to the climax of the movie, his intention is to kill his best friend, who is a black man who kind of mentored him in the craft of drug dealing. So there's some complicated racial dynamics here. And James Franco, accused of sexual misconduct a few years ago. I feel like he's been radio silent since then. The last time I remember seeing him was when he won an Oscar for the Room movie, when he did The Room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that really didn't sit well with me because unlike Harmony Korine, who passes no judgment on his subjects, that film seemed really leaning into the making fun of Tommy Wiseau and this movie as being the worst movie ever. It seemed very judgy.
Yeah, it was made to make fun of him, it feels like.
And James Franco brought him to the Oscars, and like it just seemed really ugly because he didn't seem to realize, I think, that he was being made fun of, maybe, or didn't realize what it would quite feel like when he got there.
Right. Yeah,
anyway, that was an ugly situation.
Yeah.
So we also have two big young stars doing their first adult roles.
Yep.
Selena Gomez and Vanessa Hudgens. Even though Selena Gomez is oddly like the most famous woman on the planet, like she has the most like Instagram followers or whatever. Right. I don't, where did she come from? I'm old.
So I actually
before she dated Justin Bieber, where did she come from?
She was on a Disney show called Wizards of Waverly Place. Now, I did not grow up with Selena Gomez. Like, I don't have an emotional connection to her. I love her now. I love her makeup products because she has a whole makeup brand now. I love it. And I love, I watch her in, what's that show? Only Murders in the Building. And I actually, it's not that I didn't like Selena Gomez before I started watching that show. I just thought she was very, boring, very, she I don't know, she's kind of one of those celebrities who like because she does music as well. I don't listen to a lot of her music. She doesn't like belt out her songs. Like she's a very how do I want to phrase this, like modest, a very muted celebrity. So I think she was very well cast in this.
She's very good in this movie. I love a Selena Gomez single on the radio. They're all bangers. Love them. But yeah, she plays Faith, who's the religious one, the reluctant one.
Yes.
In this quartet of girls. And just very briefly, we'll say that three of the girls hold up like a Denny's type all night diner
a chicken restaurant.
Okay. And they rob all these people of money so they can go on spring break. So Selena Gomez's character is not a part of that.
Yeah.
And she ends up being the first one to leave.
Yeah. She feels a little bit like an outlier.
Yes. And we also have Vanessa Hudgens from High School Musical.
Who was dating our favorite Austin Butler at the time.
That's right. She's the reason he's Elvis. She suggested he should be Elvis.
Which also, side note, I only noticed this because I had the caption on. At the beginning of the movie, it's like showing them in the college classroom. You cannot hear it. I could only read it on the captions. The professor is saying something about how, like, the last class, he gave a great lecture on Elvis, which I thought was really funny. But then funnier than that, then he started talking about how now what they're going to talk about is the second Reconstruction. So I'm like, what class is this? I was like, what class is this where those are the two lectures?
Oh my goodness. I don't know, but I want to take it.
Yeah, right? I was like, how fun. Maybe like race relations in United States or something.
It must be, because that would get into some of the themes of this movie for sure. That's fascinating. I never noticed that because I don't usually have the captions on.
Right. Yeah. So a little Elvis callback and a very strange class. Yeah. Maybe that's where she got the inspiration to tell him to audition.
Oh my God, probably.
Yeah.
She's also great in this.
She's really great.
She plays Candy. And she's very good. And then we have Ashley Benson. I knew Ashley Benson from Days of Our Lives. I used to watch Days of Our Lives. And she was a Pretty Little Liar around the the time of this movie.
Right.
And then the last girl is Harmony Korine's wife, who like they're maybe like 10 years apart. Age is just a number, whatever. But she looks so much younger than him. Like,
yes.
I thought the first time I watched this, she was his daughter. And since she is topless for like half the movie, I was like, that is an interesting choice of casting.
Yes.
And then I realized, oh, it's just his very young wife. And then I realized she actually is, I mean, they were all in their like 20s when they were doing this. She just looks very young.
Yes. Yeah. I think it was very deliberate casting too. I mean, all of the girls look very young, but also, you know, older than they look young for what a, you know, early 20-year-old looks like normally in movies, but they look older than what actual, you know, 20 and 19-year-olds look like. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, especially Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez looks very young in this movie.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, anything else you wanted to add about our cast?
Oh my God, Gucci Mane is in this movie. I love Gucci Mane.
I don't know anything about him.
I read his autobiography. It's phenomenal. I love Gucci Mane so much. The fact that he gives, like, I love Gucci Mane. The fact that he gives us a little brr moment, because that's like his whole thing is the ice cream cone, because he got an ice cream cone tattooed on his face. So at one point he says something like, you know, have a happy spring break, brr. I lost it. I love Gucci Mane. I love him in this movie. I was so happy when I saw him come up. Like, oh my God.
I love that for you.
Yeah. So thank you for, I don't know if he does like a lot of acting. I have no idea. No, his biography must have come out after this. I don't know if he mentions like a lot of acting in it, but he should really get into it more. He's great. I love him.
Yeah, he's the rival drug dealer, the former best friend of James Franco's character. Shows up like, the movie doesn't really have a plot until like halfway through, and then it gets plot, and he's kind of the driving force at that.
Yes. Yeah, he's not in it enough in my opinion, but you know.
Maybe for the 15th anniversary we'll get an extended cut. Who knows?
Oh my God, that'd be so exciting. Or like a table read of the script. Just like long stretches of quiet.
Well, here's to hoping. We've got time.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. So for this mini episode, we're going to skip our plot summary. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back with our Gothic Roundup. All right, Ghosties, we're back with our Gothic Roundup. All Gothic films have 4 categories: a girl, a guy, a house, and a haunt. Who do you think our girl is in this film?
This was a very tough one. If you had asked me 30 minutes into the film, I would have said Faith, because she is kind of the obvious choice, or I wouldn't say the obvious choice, but you know, she's the good girl who is swept up into this.
I think she is the obvious choice too, because she's religious and she's getting, you know, there's often this like purity versus temptation element, and that she's getting swept up into, and this is not at all what she wanted this trip to be.
Right. So besides her, because like I hesitate to say that she is, just because she does get out, like, you know, midway through the movie.
She bounces.
And I was shocked when she didn't come back. I really was.
Yes.
I fully expected her to, like, you know, I don't know, say stop the bus and like jump off, you know.
She leaves like we're almost right at the midway point, and we never see Selena Gomez again.
Nope, never hear from. I mean, there's kind of like a little bit of a callback, but yeah, you never see her again. Besides that, like, it's hard for me to say. I'm interested to know your answer, because it's hard for me to say, because I feel like all, you know, the 3 main characters, because Harmony Korine's wife's character, she kind of almost becomes the outlier. I feel like she's kind of in the background for a lot of things. So between the three characters of James Franco, Ashley Benson, and Candy, she's the only one who I apparently remember the character's name. They kind of feel very like in cahoots. So I'm interested to know what you have to say.
This is a tough one. And since if I have to choose, and I do have to choose because I love making myself and other people choose, I would choose Alien as the girl. I don't know if it's because I've been on this gender reversed or, non-gendered girl kick that we've been on for a while. But I agree with you where the movie is making you think it's going to be Selena Gomez's character.
Yeah.
That, that she's the viewpoint character of this film because they play this voiceover a lot where she calls her grandmother and she talks about what a spiritual place it is and how she wants to come back next year with you. Yeah. And then like while there's all this debauchery on screen, they play this voiceover. But you think she's the POV character.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say Alien would probably be like maybe my second choice. Especially because I have to wonder how it in the context of the movie, it's all of this action happens because these four girls show up. He's actually just kind of minding his business as much as he can, and these four girls show up and so I think that's a good take.
They're definitely the catalyst, and the middle of the movie has that great speech, the greatest monologue of all time in any movie. I got shorts. Look at my shit. Color. I got shorts in every color. That's not a bed. That's a motherfucking spaceship. U.S.S. Enterprise up in here. Gonna take you to outer space. I got my blue Kool-Aid. I got my nunchucks.
I love when he says I got the blue Kool-Aid and all the girls go,
Vanessa Hudgens is like, the blue Kool-Aid.
The blue Kool-Aid.
And like, it's just the greatest thing ever. And then like watching it for the 15th time, I feel like this is the pivotal moment. I can't think of the word for it, but the turning point where things start to change. The like crux, or there's some technical engineering term for it. Because especially watching this for again, like the 15th time, I feel like the only girls in the room are Candy and Britt, who are Vanessa Hudgens and Ashley Benson. They are laughing at him at this point. Like they're together and they're just like, look at this guy. Like, look at this guy. And they're laughing at him. And then there's this scene where they take his guns and he says, those are loaded. Stop pointing them at me. Because he knows what you get the feeling. He has the teardrop tattooed on his cheek. Like he's killed some people before, this about him. And so he knows what this can do, but these girls are reckless. They're dangerous. Yeah. They love the glamour of it. Britt early on in the movie has the squirt gun that's like filled with vodka or something. And she's always putting it in her mouth and squirting in her mouth.
Right.
But then, so the girls take the guns and put them on their bikini fronts. And basically James Franco fillets this loaded pistol, and he says, I just sucked your dick. Yeah. And the girls go, and you're gonna do it again, and like the power dynamic shifts in that moment, literally, where they are in control of him now. Right. And I just find that so powerful. I find that scene so stunning. Yes. James Franco, like 10 years ago, I was really into James Franco, and he was like hardcore into his queer baiting phase where he was like playing a gay porn star. He actually co-directed a gay porn movie and he's doing this, and it's just like, oh my God, James Franco. And he's playing my favorite type of guy, which is the total himbo. Like he's just such a himbo. He's so stupid and he's so sweet to them. Like he genuinely cares about these girls.
Right.
Like he does come off, especially early on, a little predatory with the Selena Gomez character. Yeah. But at the same time, he doesn't force her to stay. He lets her go back on the bus and like,
right.
But
right. I was going to say, I would be curious to know how he treated other women before them, though, because when Selena Gomez was having her breakdown and saying she wanted to leave, he told her that she could leave, but all the time that he spent with the other 3 girls, he would just be thinking of her. So the whole time after he said that, after I was watching the movie, I couldn't help but think that maybe he was being extra sweet to these girls because he saw Selena Faith's like, naivety, and he saw a piece of that in them, even though these girls were wild and insane and very different from her. So maybe he was really putting Faith's innocence on them.
That's a really, really good point. Yeah, because they do nothing to show that they have that type of purity.
Yes.
But yeah, because he does treat them like they're these innocent angels.
Yeah. He says all the time how much he loves them.
Yeah. He writes the bad poem for them.
Oh, it's so cute.
Mermaids come from the sea, standing in front of me. Like, it's so precious.
It is so cute. And, that I included it in my review. The scene where he sings Every Time by Britney Spears, that altered my brain chemistry. I will not be the same person from that moment forward.
That scene is why this is my all-time favorite movie.
It is phenomenal.
It's so good, and it can only be in a movie like this. Again, directed by someone who's passing no judgment on these characters. And in the world of this movie, that is the most romantic thing that has ever happened to these people.
Yes.
And it does give us a bonus gothic of a Panano. So the girls are wearing pink ski masks with unicorns on the forehead.
Yeah.
And they have shotguns and assault rifles. And they ask him to play something inspirational. And he plays a Britney Spears song.
Yeah.
He said, what is he? He says, this is a song by a little known singer by the name of pop artist by the name of Miss Britney Spears. The greatest singer there ever was, and an angel on earth, if there ever was one.
Yep. And like, they're like dancing in a circle, holding each other's guns, like skipping in a circle.
Yes.
It's phenomenal. So something else too, we didn't get into the plot summary, so I'm just going to throw this in here, even though it doesn't really fit. This movie came out in 2012, 2013?
2013.
So I was in my sophomore year of college. So this was like, feel like I was the target demographic. So when I saw the previews for this movie, I was like, it looks vapid. It looks so stupid. Why would I watch this? I was very like, in Tumblr, so I was like, girls in bikinis, no. I wish I had watched it then just to know how my opinion would be different probably now, because I probably would have said in 2013 that it was sexist and gratuitous and things like that. But watching it now, remembering, and I by no means was like a spring break party girl in college. I know, shocker to everyone, but I think it's really, it would have been really interesting to know what I thought of it then, because looking at it now and thinking of who I was when I was a sophomore in college, I would have died if someone played me Britney Spears on the piano. It's like that's like a millennial dream. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Like the way that he talked about women, like that would have been my dream back then. So, you're right. He is a very like sweet himbo. I'm curious to know, like, if that was what they were going for. I think it kind of is. But yeah, so getting, rounding back to the point. Yeah, I could see him as the girl.
Yeah, we talk about the girl being drawn into a situation that they're not prepared for. And initially that's Faith, as you said, but then it becomes him because as the girls start to take over and ending up on these like wild trip that they're on, even though they're not really, I wouldn't say they're like manipulating him, but I mean, he gets killed and they get a Lamborghini. Like,
right? Yeah.
I mean, he tragically gets killed, and it's really sad because by that point he's kind of become the protagonist of this movie.
Right. Yeah. Which, by the way, I had to rewind my movie 30 seconds to like make sure that actually happens. It's so unceremonious. It's just.
It happens so fast. They go to storm Gucci Mane's like compound.
Yeah.
And they're on this neon lit dock.
Oh,
and this guy just runs out and boom, shoots him dead instantly. He doesn't even get a shot off. And then Ashley Benson and Vanessa Hudgens have their neon yellow bikinis on, and they're like Uzis, submachine guns, and they just like mow everybody down.
It's incredible.
And then drive off in the Lamborghini. Spring break forever. Like they get to achieve their dreams by the end of this.
Right.
Because Cotty, which is such a weird name, is the Rachel Corinne character. She gets shot. But then you get the feeling that even if she hadn't been shot, she might have gone home because she's like, this is when spring break is over. Like, we've got to go back to college now.
Yeah.
Like, this is just temporary.
Right. And it is so wild because watching this movie, I think after Selena Gomez left, I was thinking to myself, oh, they must be like, this must actually be a couple of weeks or like a month that all of this is happening. And they're just not addressing the fact that they're now not going back to school. And so when she said that, everyone's going back to school, everyone's going back to their real lives, I was like, this has been a week? This has been like maybe even just like 5 days?
Yes. The wildest 5 days ever.
Seriously.
And it's what these girls wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. They got what they wanted.
They got what they wanted. So in our Gothic Roundup, I would put them as the guys, Candy and Britt.
Yeah.
I don't know if they quite fit into that, but just for the sake of our roundup, I'd put them there.
Right.
The guy often does have this disregard for the girl, I feel like, and has another goal in mind and doesn't really care what happens to the girl. And they definitely fit that mentality.
Right.
Like, I think they like him, but they don't really, and they're sad when he dies.
Yeah, they give him a little kiss on the head.
Yeah, but like, that's it. He was just this kind of plaything for them.
Yeah.
That seems a little misogynistic. I feel like people say that when they think women are quote unquote using men. So I don't want to use that term. But they were he was just there. He was
the means to get to where they wanted to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, because I think if it hadn't, if he hadn't gotten killed, I think they would have stuck with him. They still would have gotten the Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Because he probably would have given it to them.
Right.
So they
had a pretty sweet thing going on.
They really did. I know it's kind of it's kind of this weird fantasy. At the end, it's like, oh, I love that it works out for them. That's great.
Right. Yeah. Girl power all to you, Yeah, I can agree with that. Again, it doesn't really fit in the sense that usually, we kind of touched on this with Alien. The girl is lured, where it's almost the opposite because he bails them out of jail to get them out. So, it's not really that relationship where they've sort of, again, maybe it's a little misogynistic sounding, but they've like ensnared him, but he was trying to manipulate them in his own way too, in a way. So,
it's almost like the faith part, like you said, is if we had to make this as Gothic as possible, is the Gothic part of the movie. Yeah. And the rest is like what we don't get to see when the Gothic movie ends.
Right. The chaos that just keeps happening.
That's true. Or if the girl's able to take power over the guy, we don't usually get to see this unwind in this way.
Right. Yeah. Up until Faith leaving It's a gothic.
Yeah, because the girl never gets to bail. You know, she gets put into a life or death situation by the end of the movie.
Right.
But in this one, she's just like, peace.
Bye.
I mean, she's actually very crying a lot.
Yeah.
But she gets to go home.
That scene made me laugh so hard because I was like, could you imagine crying that much leaving St. Petersburg, Florida?
It was the most spiritual place she'd ever been.
True, I guess. I can't judge. I'm doing exactly what Harmony Korine doesn't want me to do. But
no, you can't judge her.
I can't help it.
She's just having a great time. Because we do get a little bit, again, there's in a Gothic movie, there's usually some religious overtones. And she does have this, like, we see her in this prayer circle where everybody's clapping, but she's kind of clapping the least out of everybody. And we see her in front of a stained glass window of like Jesus, but she's kind of looking conflicted. And then they cut from that to her just kind of smoking and being upset. Yeah. So she does want something else out of life. They live in, I don't know where they live, but I think it was maybe the Richard Roeper review or some review I mentioned said they were in Kentucky. I don't know where they get that from. I have no idea where the hell these girls are.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But they're in a small town, bored with their lives. Understandably so. They all want something different, you know. Yeah. And the Faith character does get that up until a point. But once they get bailed out, and she feels like she's in some sort of danger because there are all these predatory men around her. Yeah. There is also an element of racism about this because it's only when she's in the room with all these black men is when she feels uncomfortable. When the black men start hitting on her is when she feels uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, that was actually, I thought, a really interesting part of the movie is, you know, sort of the differences in like quote unquote partying. You know, when it's white college kids doing it, it's seen as this fun, you know, debauchery kind of, but then when it's black people doing it, oh, God forbid, got to get out of there.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
Yep. So I thought that was a very interesting point.
Yeah. It's an interesting point this movie makes. So we have our house. We don't really have a house, but we do get that great speech of all his shit. Shit. The consumerism is just like, you know, all his stuff. Right. It's just that's what it is just stuff.
Yeah. And, you know, even though there isn't a house, you know, it so heavily focuses on it being St. Petersburg, Florida. So the setting is great. You know, it's very, it's like, you know, I guess if I were to think of St. Petersburg, Florida, the movie did a great job of capturing it because to me, it's like knockoff Miami. So it's like that slick 80s Miami Vice, but it's like not quite as cool. It's not quite as, you know, elevated. It's very chaotic, lots of neon lights, you know. Tawdry. Yeah, good way to put it.
That's true, because also we talk about the Gothic and getting swept off sometimes to a different country. And this is as far as these girls are going to be able to get. You know, they can't, they're not going to Cancun, which is literally in a different country and the other like iconic spring break destination. Right. Like they're staying in the U.S. They probably drove there. So yeah, that's true. And did you ever watch Spring Break on MTV?
No, I don't think so.
That was such a big deal when I was a teenager. MTV would air Spring Break and there would just be content.
I think I remember the concerts actually.
Exactly. And that's kind of where we meet the James Franco character, Alien. He's doing, you could totally picture this being on MTV. He's doing a rap show. Everybody's screaming in the audience. I used to love watching Spring Break on MTV because you get to see all these hot guys in swim shorts. Like it was just very exciting for me as a high school student. I never wanted to go because I don't like big crowds like that. My God, I would never want to be in that situation. If I would be the Faith character, I'd be like, get me the fuck out of here. Like I'd be crying.
Day one, though.
I'd be crying day one, just wanting to go home. Like could not believe that. So so I just wonder, like, I'm assuming this movie was 10 years ago. Is there still a Spring Break culture? Like, is that a thing still?
I mean, it's hard for me to say because like I went to school I guess technically kind of like these girls did, but like in a smaller town, people weren't really traveling for spring break, but there definitely was, a couple of groups of girls who would, go down to Florida and stuff like that. But I don't think it's quite as massive as it was. It feels like it was like a very like early 2000s thing, like very much so. So I think by the time I was in college, it didn't feel quite as major.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I also just, I was so separate from it that I don't think I would have known even if it was.
Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, it's huge. And there's the scene where when they're getting arrested, where they end up getting arrested.
Yeah.
And it's just like wall to wall bodies, like
yes.
just, oh my God, just again, absolute nightmare. Like just so anxiety inducing.
Yes. Well, like the closest thing I've ever gotten to like a spring break was I rented a beach house, like, but I think it was in the summer, whatever. But like, that was like the closest I ever got to like, partying. And I just remember I had one night where I think we maybe had like tops a dozen people in this house, and the owner of the rental came and kicked people out. They were so about that number of people. Wow. So I was watching this and I was like, how is like the hotel not kicking people out? Like, like, I mean, I guess probably it's their money, but that's where they make all their money. But to me, I was just like, how does this even exist?
The spring break industry is baffling to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, imagine living there. Like you're a resident.
Oh my God. Oh,
like what a nightmare spring break would be.
Right. I guess I shouldn't like generalize St. Petersburg in such a negative way, because there are probably people there who are just like trying to function. And it's like great 51 weeks out of the year.
Yeah, where did they go? I wonder where they go this other week,
they have their own vacation spot.
I want the spring breakers side story about all the like old people who just, I don't know, go to like Aspen or something just to get the fuck out of Florida for that.
They're like, we've seen so many boobs, we don't need any more. Put on more layers.
The thing, this does take me back to that MTV spring break days. Cause like where that is like, you'd watch it on TV. Obviously there's no nudity.
Yeah.
We didn't have HD TV back then. And then this is taking the modern like HD technology. Like they're shooting these party scenes with this like high speed camera. So you're seeing the twerking and all the flesh moving in slow motion. And just like, it takes this nasty party scene, but kind of turns it into something arty, like artsy, the way it's filmed.
Yes. And a lot of times when they overlay like different parts of the movie with these cut scenes of people partying, it's like weirdly beautiful. It's very fun how it was done.
This movie's very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
So finally we have the haunt. Obviously there's no supernatural element at all in this movie. So my suggestion of what is hanging over us in this is capitalism and just the class critique of this movie. Because everybody in it has been quote unquote low class at some point.
Yeah.
And it's had to go to some sort of extreme to go up that ladder.
Right.
So, that's where we end up with everyone. Like the girls commit a crime just to be able to go to spring break.
Right.
And then they're able to insinuate themselves with this drug dealer and again, end up with their Lamborghini at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And not have to go back to college. Like what a dream.
Right. Yeah.
Like, who knows where they're going to go with this, but like worst case scenario, they sell this car and end up with God knows how much money and be able to be just fine.
Right.
So, and we learn a little bit about Alien's backstory where he had some brothers and sisters who have all been killed. Yep. He grew up in like a very rough home environment and he was able to honestly be a small business owner. He's a drug dealer, but it's illegal, but he's a small business owner. He has staff. He has
the twins.
He has inventory. He, pays bills. So like, and then I imagine this it's very similar with the Gucci Mane character.
Right.
You don't just become a drug dealer overnight. You know,
Right.
it's something you have to really work for.
Yeah, they grew up together. So it's also interesting to see, you know, how well Gucci Mane's character is doing compared to, obviously, Alien is not doing bad. He's got all of his stuff. He's got all of his stuff. But, you know, the differences in that. Yeah. And then just like the fight for, you know, the weird like competition between them. You know, I guess I shouldn't say weird. That was a poor choice of words, but maybe unnecessary. That also doesn't feel right. But
no, it is totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, it's territorial,
Yes.
and materialistic.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of the whole movie, this materialism. And because the girls feel the same thing. Like, you can't just, I mean, honestly, you already get a week off from college. You can just party at home. But no, they need the status of being able to go to spring break and go to these big parties and do all these drugs and ride these scooters and everything. Like, they want that status of doing that. And just as a quick side note, there's a slow motion shot of them all on the scooters. And Selena Gomez looks so good on that scooter, the way they capture her. She's like screaming, her mouth's open. Like, it's just such a great shot that they captured of her. And they know they did it because they show it like 3 times throughout the movie. Like, they know what a good shot that is. Yeah,
but you're right. Like, it's this overarching just like materialism, wanting what you don't have. Just drive. Oh, and you know, because they bring it up all the time, is the American dream. This is my American dream.
This is my American dream. It is exactly.
Yeah. My American dream.
Some people, they want to do the right thing. I like doing the wrong thing. Everyone's always telling me, yo, you got to change. I'm about stacking change, yo. Stacking change. That's it. Money. I'm about making money. That's the dream, y'all. That's the American dream. That's it. I did it. Most of my brothers and sisters, they dead. It was all bad. We got murdered. I'm the last one standing. I'm bad as they is. Just in our blood, y'all. But I love it. This was my dream. I made it come true. This is the fucking American dream, y'all.
I think that's one of my Letterboxd reviews. It just says, this is the motherfucking American dream.
Yes.
Well, sometimes my reviews are just like one line from the movie, because what else do I have to say about it?
Right. Side note, it's really funny. I do recommend the next time you watch this, watch it with subtitles, because the subtitles, at least I watched it on Tubi, I think has it for free.
So the best streaming service.
Right. So I think it's Tubi. Everyone, there's no excuse not to watch it. It's free somewhere. I just can't. I think it's Tubi. But so I don't know if it's just them or if it would be, you know, everything. But they change a lot of the words on the captions. So, you know, for example, they don't use the N-word in the captions.
Wow. Okay.
My favorite was probably at some point, Gucci Mane's character says something about being in the trap, and they changed that to, I think, hotel, which doesn't make any sense. He says, I think it's
how
when they
weird.
like go to his like strip club or something, and he says, you know, you show up at my trap or something, and they say hotel, and I just thought that was hilarious.
Funny. Are they trying to like translate it for people?
Yeah, right.
It's like watching anime or something. Like,
there's no direct translation, so they just made something up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, I've never, despite all the times I've seen it, I've never watched it with the captions, and I'd love to find. If you remember when we watched Mother, and I watched Mother with that audio narration for the visually impaired, I would love to watch Spring Breakers with that. I've got to see if I can find an audio track for that.
That would be so good.
We'll revisit it for its 11th anniversary.
We'll talk about it once a year, baby.
Once a year, spring break.
Spring break forever.
So yeah, and then we have our bonus gothic, that white piano that's out by the pool. Again, it's the way, as you said, it just like it changes you forever. It's at sunset. Another great thing is the way the girl's mouth and their teeth look in the ski masks.
Vivid.
Just the costuming of this movie is incredible.
So
and good. I've never seen Euphoria, but I imagine there's the crime scene at the beginning when the girls go to the chicken restaurant, and it's so expertly shot where the camera follows Cotty in the truck as she drives around all four sides of the restaurant.
Yes.
And it's shot almost like it's one seamless take. And you see the girls go through and rob people of their money. And then there's the last guy they get to. And again, he's the black guy. And the movie starts to slow down as if like, he's the dangerous one. He's the one that they're that's gonna catch them, but he doesn't do anything. But anyway, the whole thing is so expertly shot. And there's a movie that I really love called Assassination Nation, which is directed by Sam Levinson, who went on to do Euphoria. Oh, okay. And he must have seen Spring Breakers because he does almost the exact same thing.
Really?
But like on steroids. Like there's a scene where they're in this gorgeous house with so many windows. And it's like you take the chicken restaurant scene, but set it in a 3-story house. Oh. And the camera goes around and you have this home intrusion scene happening, but it's straight out of Spring Breakers. I'm like, I love that. Had to have seen this movie and like been inspired by it. And for what little I know about Euphoria, I feel like that's may have been inspiring his output.
Well, it's funny that you say that because like it's almost a little embarrassing when I'm watching a movie. I'll have my notes app open and I'll write down ideas that I have for reviews because I usually do like the one line, snarky kind of thing. And one of the ones I have for this movie is Spring Breakers walked so that Euphoria could run.
There you go.
Very similar. Yeah.
Yes. He must be a acolyte of Harmony Korine for sure.
Right. Yeah. Not in like storyline so much. I mean, obviously it's like rambunctious teenagers or, whatever, but and just like tone and shooting, it's very similar.
Visual style. I want to see, I don't know anything about Sam Levinson. I want to see how old he is. He is 38. So yeah, he would have been in late 20s when this movie came out, which is like the perfect time to be seeking inspiration as a filmmaker. So
yes.
Very interesting. So what do you think? Is this movie gothic? We normally decide, is it so gothic, gothish, or no gothic? What do you think?
I mean, kind of. I would honestly say no, but that's my opinion. And I just had a fun time talking about it. Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely not. Not gothic at all. It's just so fun to put things in gothic categories. And I just really wanted an excuse to talk about Spring Breakers. My favorite movie of all time. I love this movie. It's always number 1 on my top 4, my letterbox. Like it's always there.
Well, I have to say, like, this is why I love doing this podcast. This is why I love having you around, is I watch movies I never would have watched because I think I texted you. This was not at all what I expected, because my opinion of this movie before I watched it changed a couple times. Cause like I said, I kind of talk about how I thought about it when it came out. And then when you were talking about how much you loved it, I was thinking, oh, it must be over the top, fun, crazy, I was like, he has so much passion for this movie. It must be like insane. And it is, but not at all in the way that I think you think it will be. It's really, I mean, we won't get into it. It's maybe not my favorite movie. There's some issues I have with it, but it is so much fun. It is a movie that I absolutely watched and did not, open my phone and get distracted. Like I was eyes glued to the screen the whole time. I will definitely rewatch it. It's very, very good.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I always hope I can introduce people to the joy that is Spring Breakers. Because it is, I think, as you said, like it's a movie that I think was unfairly judged when it came out.
Yeah.
It's misunderstood and now at this point virtually forgotten. So I just want to I want spring break forever. Like that's what I want.
Forever.
I want to be watching Spring Breakers when I'm 80. Like that's that's how I feel. We'll see. But I mean, this is the movie that I watch this movie consistently more than any other movie that I've been obsessed with. The obsession still hangs on. So we'll see how long it lasts. We'll see if it actually is forever.
Oh, I hope it is.
I hope so. So thank you, Ghosties, for listening to us break down Spring Breakers. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and drop us an email. sogothicpod@gmail.com. And you can follow us on Instagram for hints about what we'll discuss next. We'll get back into a more traditionally Gothic mindset for sure. But thank you for listening to this special mini episode. And as always, stay ghosty. Bye-bye.
Bye.